friend of mine called me up and he said, be real careful where you go and what you say because you have detectives out on you.
At a very early age, I began questioning who people thought I was because a lot of people said, well, you're Little Ricky. But I wasn't Little Ricky.
In fact, Desi and his older sister, Lucie Arnaz, tried to live a normal life. Normal, that is, if you're a Beverly Hills brat whose best friends included Dean Martin Jr. and Liza Minnelli.
But it didn't really happen the way people thought it did. And my parents, Lucie and Desi, weren't Lucie Ricardo and Ricky Ricardo.
But the walls of the soundstage came tumbling down when Lucie had enough of Desi Sr.'s drinking and womanizing. They were divorced when Desi Jr. was 8.
I grew up in a place where the material rewards of this world were very evident. But their inner life, their happiness inwardly, still wasn't complete, and there were still problems. I got very bored with myself and that false life. We were out on the road at 13 years old and 14 and 15 years old and performing with the Beach Boys. They took us under their wing, and the Papas.
The Mamas and Papas wrote the book on sex, drugs, and booze, and they were sordid mentors for the wholesome Dino, Desi, and Billy.
Even when I was 15, something happened where I was aware. It was when I was playing the drums, and I was taking a drug that was very strong. It was some kind of amphetamine, and my muscles actually started to cramp. And this was when I was 15, and I couldn't continue the drum solo.
Mama Lucie tried to steady young Desi, making him a co-star with Sister Lucie on the series Here's Lucy.
When you're young and you get high, it doesn't seem like it's really hurting you. But I assure you that eventually it does become very painful, and then it kills you.
But it was an illusion, especially for Lucie's real-life son, Desi Arnaz Jr., who lived in the shadow of his fictional life. And now some say he's living another kind of fiction.
The fear of Lucy. As we well know, Lucille Ball at that time was extremely powerful.
She was an actress model living in California and under contract to Paramount Pictures. She says she dated Desi regularly for about 4 years after meeting him on a blind date.
They were taping the Here's Lucy show, so I went with his manager, and we went out for dinner later, and then it was love at first sight. And we started dating, and the rest is history.
20-year-old Julia Howe is his illegitimate daughter and Lucie's grandchild.
That makes her the granddaughter of the late, great Lucille Ball.
I do recall Desi coming over to the house when Julie was about 2 years old.
Desi's family kept him away from her after the birth of Julia.
My grandparents are and were the great Lucille Ball and the talented Desi Arnaz Sr. And I was very, very proud. I think anybody would have been proud to state that they have grandparents that are on TV.
Lucille Ball's first grandchild.
My mother was a Ford model back in the 60s. I partied beyond partying, nothing to do with drugs, just really having fun times. Then I met Bill Wyman for the Rolling Stones, and we fell in love.
I was 3.5 years old. I remember distinctly.
Mick Jagger and I were tight. He was so fun. He said, Suzanne, go out and pick me the prettiest girl that he wanted to be with, if you know what I mean. There's a whole mob of groupies out there.
I just said, okay, I'm going to watch this, and I did.
I knew I was pregnant with Julia. Couldn't wait to get back to the States to call her father.
Being who he is makes things a little more interesting for me, and for me to see my father on TV, I could see him. I want him to see me.
Desi Arnaz Jr., yeah, Julia's father, Baba Louie.
It was especially hard to be born into such a legendary family and to just feel as though the sense of belonging that I felt like I belonged, but I just didn't, I just didn't fit in anywhere.
Lucille Ball, no way would do that, from back in history. Anyway, he was out of my life at that point in time, unfortunately. And luckily I had the money to conceive Julia and bring Julia up and have her go to the Montessori school system, Catholic schools, then public schools and whatever.
That chapter got ugly.
It was horrible.
I love so hard, and I just can't imagine. You know, and then I wonder why what I did.
I really didn't care about anything. I was actually having a nervous breakdown.